have a very special guest here joining us. I'm going to flip us around here. The film Silent River is, well, he's going to tell us if it's here. Writer-director Chris Chanley is joining us on the Film Threat live cast. Chris, really great to have you on the show. How's it going today?
Hey, yeah, I'm still reeling from that Fast Times clip. I can't.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if I'm ever going to recover from that. You guys ruined it for me. So okay.
Well, there might be worse clips. There might be. Let me see if I can find one.
Oh no.
Just, you never know what's going to happen on the show. It's Alan. Okay. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
sorry, I don't want to derail the show. That's the point of the show, is it gets derailed. But your film Silent River is a genre film that played successfully on the festival circuit. Is it out now and available on video on demand?
Yes, so Silent River is a independent feature film, and you're catching me literally like the day after our widely available commercial release on video on demand. So it's on iTunes, Apple TV, Amazon Prime. It's on Comcast, lots of other platforms if you're already a subscriber. And there's more information on our website, silentrivermovie.com, to see what all the activity is. So this has been like a 4-year journey, and you're catching me as I'm crawling through the finish line. Like, we just did all this promotion. We did a theatrical in LA, and it's great to be here on the other side, so.
Tell us about the story for the film and how it resonated with audiences.
It's a mind-bending sci-fi mystery film about a guy who winds up at a remote desert hotel on his way to try and reconcile with his ex. And while he's at the hotel, he becomes very intrigued with this mysterious woman that checks in next door to him. And I don't want to give anything away, but it plays with a lot of sense of mythology and about what is real, and potentially like transitioning to this like purgatory reality, and the film sort of plays in a dreamlike state, and as there's this bonding, this new relationship that's being formed between these two hotel guests.
I have to ask you about the visual style of your film. What were your influences behind that, and what was kind of your motivation in the way you visually told the story?
Yeah, it's hard to say definitively what all the inspirations or influences were. I certainly have a lot of filmmakers that I've really enjoyed and studied and everything. And we were trying to do something original, but I think the film may play well for audiences that are into films like from Kubrick or David Lynch. I know there was one direct influence, like right before we shot the film. We were already in pre-production. It was already scripted and stuff. I guess I was the last person on the planet that hadn't seen Possession yet, the one with Isabelle Adjani, and that just blew me away. And it sort of underscored the possibilities of cinema, right? That sometimes film can be a little bit too complacent, that the vocabulary doesn't have to be so narrow. And that film Possession really reminded me, just like David Lynch films as well, that cinema is a world of possibilities, that we don't have to be anchored into the physical plane of the rules of nature, etc. So it's pretty much all over the map, my influences. But like Kubrick was, like, when I was trying to find influences, the closest film that I could find that was like kind of taking place at a hotel and all that stuff obviously is The Shining. And but no one's going to really replicate that film. I'm just saying, like, those are the kinds of things that interest me, where a film is sort of a Pandora's box, and the more you study it, the more you learn from the world.
And what I really love is that your film represents kind of a movement now of low budget indie sci-fi, fantasy, horror, that is possible to achieve on a low budget scale. And that's what I love, is you can get into it's almost like the whatever budgetary restraints are actually made up for in the realm of ideas. And that's why I think indie sci-fi is so exciting to me. So
yeah, exactly, Chris. I mean, you know, my collaborators and I, we have bigger projects, big other scripts, other properties that we would love to do, etc. But it got to that point about 3 years ago. We were like, heck, the technology is there. There's like all this new equipment, you know, available to independent filmmakers that really brought the barrier of entry down. And I was kind of like, why are we waiting for permission? Why are we waiting for somebody to tell us we can go make a movie? We know how to make a movie. Let's just go do it. You know, it was with that spirit in mind. And frankly, it's a lot less expensive. It's a lot cheaper now than it was even 10 or 20 years ago, right? Where you had all these other fees that were involved with post-production and even acquisition and everything. So there are really a lot of opportunities now for filmmakers to do very high level of production value at a low cost.
Yeah, and not to pry too much on the budget, but you know, it is possible to make that math work, where you did a limited theatrical. It's on VOD, just came out on VOD yesterday, you said, right?
Right.
So it's on video on demand. There's a way, and part of, like, I know there's like 350 people watching us live right now on YouTube. So smash that like button. And subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. But also, a lot of people who check out our channel are interested in, like, well, how can I be a creator and make a film and get it out there? And like, what's interesting, the process that you went through is not just making the movie. That's a job. Then the other part of the job is you got to like release the movie. That's a whole other set. That's like a whole other It's like a whole other job. We have a lot of comments and questions in the chat. Would you mind taking some chat questions?
Oh, absolutely.
Cool. So here we go. I'll throw them up on screen. JK Nonstop says, mind-bending sci-fi mythology, Kubrick, Lynch. I'm sold. You piqued my interest with Lynch, says Anarkitty83. Danielle B. All right, I'll check it out. Ryan Landis says, sounds interesting. Anarkitty83 goes on to say, ooh, existential dread. And Dale Smokone says, where can I watch? My local theaters are hit and miss with indie film support. So where can people get it?
Yeah, thanks for your interest, everybody. And, you know, we finished our 1 week theatrical run. It was only in Los Angeles. It's a really tough time in general for independent films to be in a physical theater. But we're also, you alluded to this before, Chris, but that was part of the intention, was to make a film that was low enough in production costs that I could recoup for my investors and make it like an actual viable enterprise for everybody involved, you know, because this is about the long haul, right? We want to keep making films and having product that sort of justifies all the resources, etc. So anyways, so to that end, people are mainly going to be able to watch it now, and it's available on video on demand, like Apple TV and iTunes, Amazon Prime, etc. And you could also check out the trailer and all that kind of stuff to see if it's up your alley. I mean, when I became a filmmaker was the day that, you know, I'm an older guy, so I remember when I went into a movie theater and totally not having any expectations, and I saw David Lynch's Blue Velvet, right? And that was a window into world building and to have to share that experience with an audience and with the filmmakers of this very unique, specific world that's being created, you know, on the screen. And that inspired me to become a filmmaker. And those are the kind of things that really excite me in the cinema.
What did your parents think of you wanting to get into film?
Yeah, they never really, they were always questioning it, right? Yeah. My parents are first generation Korean immigrants, and of course they wanted me to take a different path. And anyways, even to this day, my mom doesn't really quite understand what I do. So
yeah. When you start making some real money, they'll understand.
Right? Yeah. Okay, you have a lot of questions, so let's get to some of these. Werewolf Jeebus says, is that a Hokusai wood block print?
In the background behind you.
In the background.
Oh, Yeah, that boy. It's Cozy and Dan, right? So it's based on those famous Japanese wave paintings. But if you look up really closely at it, the white caps of the ocean wave are actually bunny rabbits. So it's really clever and cute, you know.
Eric O'Sullivan, I'd love to see this. I have the Somerville Theater in Davis Square, Somerville, and the Brattle in Harvard Square, Cambridge. Any chance of your print making it here, Mr. Lee?
I hope so. You know, Eric, we've actually had a really tricky time getting into the Boston market for film festivals, and I don't know why, because I've screened other films there in the past. I hope we make it there. Maybe talk to your local theater or film programmers. You know.
Well, I think it would be weird if you showed it in the Boston market, because if you ever go there, the line at the buffet
Oh, right.
is like the worst.
True,
Their
especially
macaroni and
during the
cheese is
holidays.
very
Yeah.
delicious.
Oh,
Bad. Okay. Danger UXO says, question for Chris. If you could work with any actor, who would you want to work with?
Oh, wow. You know, I really believe like the role in a film is, you know, I wouldn't just like arbitrarily want to work with one of the many actors that you know, that I admire. It would be about the pairing with the story and the character and stuff. But I can't really think off the top of my head. You know, I've been so wrapped up in this project, and like this has been my space for the past 4 years. And I do have some ideas about what I want to do next, but it's hard to think about, well, you know, to make that kind of a choice that you just asked. I just want to keep working with good talent, people that, because you know, every day is it's a huge challenge. There's a lot of risk, and so you want to really enjoy the process as much as possible. So that's, for me, that's the most important thing.
Glanuccio says the website for this movie is phenomenal. That kaleidoscope effect you achieved with the photo as you move the mouse is very cool. What is the website?
Oh, thank you. The website is silentrivermovie.com.
Mm-hmm.
And our key art was designed by Jared Potter, and then our team did the website. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Like, getting a good movie poster is not super expensive on an indie level. So all these tools and everything are just completely available. So God, we have so many questions here. What would be a movie you'd want to redo or story to create that hasn't been done yet? Says CD Stein 69.
I think I'm as adverse to maybe redoing stuff as a lot of people tend to be. But I really want to make a horror film soon, and I want to make a film that is, you know, that has like a unique sort of palette, and that makes the audience engage in the story. You know, makes them like want to go deeper into the film in that experience. And I think horror films really call upon the filmmaker, right, to pull out all your arsenal and technique and everything as far as like drawing the audience and pulling them along. And that's what I would love to do next.
Well, yeah, the website is really cool. It's silentrivermovie.com. Shelby AC asks, question for Chris, how much did the movie change from script to shooting? Do you like to let things get figured out as it goes, or do you like to have everything worked out as much as possible?
Oh, that's a great question. And you know, the way I like to go about it is to plan as much as possible. So everything is set. It's like, you know, it's storyboarded. We have floor plans, shot lists. The whole day is mapped out. That being said, oftentimes, just for practical reasons, like you're running out of time, or you're falling behind, or some piece of equipment's not working. I mean, for many reasons, you have to change your game plan. There was one day where I think I had about 30 or more setups planned for a scene. It was kind of like a chase sequence a little bit, or somebody gets lost and they have to find this person, excuse me. And we were running out of time because we were backed up between two other scenes. So I ended up just throwing away the entire shot list, and we turned all those 30 setups into one shot, one master, you know? So those are just the things that happen. But you try to make it like you try to have your vocabulary figured out. So even when you're making those changes, it doesn't feel like a compromise. It's just you've already worked out, the way that the film is supposed to play and the tone and and the different sort of motifs, and you just sort of rework with what you have, and that's what we try to do all the time.
Another question here from Mulvey747. What was the best aspect of making this film, and what was the worst?
The best aspect was also the worst aspect, and that was limited resources and limited personnel. So everybody had to wear a lot of hats. The good thing about that is, we were able to really benefit from having very committed people that really invested themselves into the project, and so it just brought out the best in our team, and as far as like collaboration and all that kind of stuff. I had to wear like 20 hats through the whole thing. It was really tough.
Wait, only 20 hats? Alan wears like 40 hats.
Right.
We know how it is doing things low budget. Solomon Thornton says, any other projects you're interested in exploring? Can't wait to see it. This from Solomon Thornton. The website is amazing, by the way.
That's so cool.
SilentRiverMovie.com. We're featuring it right here. It looks amazing. But any other projects? You mentioned a horror film. Do you have one you're working on?
Yeah, I have a horror film that the script's already been finished, and I'm hoping to get that set up. I have some TV series ideas. I have like a war drama. I mean, I have all kinds of. I think the hope is that each film is going to be a completely new set of challenges, and I'll be able to explore different modes of storytelling. So I would love to just try to keep mixing things up and keep it exciting and keep it interesting,
Yeah. Griffin has just a quick comment. Says, in a way, we know how to do it, so just film it mentality is what made 1984 The Terminator. They did a lot of guerrilla shooting. So yeah, when you look at like some of the greatest filmmakers, all came from indie. Right, it's not like a big studio just spending money to solve a problem. When you're an indie filmmaker, you really do have to, you got to figure out how to fix problems like right on the fly. So
yeah, Terminator, what a classic film, right? James Cameron, and it also makes me think. I don't know why, but it makes me think of Ridley Scott and Alien, right? He came from the commercial world, so you have these filmmakers that are. They're coming up during the advent of new technology in their era, in their particular era or generation, and they're the ones that capitalize on that technological innovation, and they take advantage of it, and they're the ones that bring these new kinds of movies to audiences. James Cameron and Ridley Scott are perfect examples of those leaders,
And a last question here from Flaccid Phoenix, who asks, what do you do to de-stress after stressful projects? And making a movie is definitely stressful.
Flaccid Phoenix is clearly another filmmaker because after we shot Silent River, it was the summer of 2019. Even though we had a really great experience in terms of there not being any drama, everyone got along great, and things went pretty well, etc. Because you're operating at such a high level of adrenaline for a very long period of time, and every day you're like jumping out of bed, like, oh my gosh, I got to do this, I got to do that. When you get off, when the shoot ends, the decompression is so harsh. I was like really depressed, because after running at this level for such a long time, I completely crashed. So it took me a few months to recover from it, actually. What to do to de-stress? That's a really good question, but I have fantasies of just being on a beach somewhere, maybe go to Hawaii or something, or Mexico.
Travel. Well, travel comes with its own stresses.
Exactly.
But,
yeah.
I just want to say, Chris Chanley, thank you so much for joining us on the Film Threat Livecast here on Hollywood on the Rocks, our Wednesday.
We have a super chat for Chris too.
Oh wait, there is. Oh, okay, great. CD Stein 69 for $1.99 says, look, another great Chris in the Hollywood sphere. Like Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Chanley.
Well, it's actually great to be here with you guys and you, Chris. I mean, I've been a big fan and follower of Film Threat for a long time, so it's so exciting to be on the show.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate the compliment. No, it's Film Threat's mission, to champion smaller indie movies and give them attention. So, congratulations on the release of the film. I hope your parents are proud.
Yeah.
So, and Griffin says, "Keep it up, Chris Chanley. We're cheering for you. Salute." So,
thanks, everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, take care, Chris. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Later. Congrats. Silent River is out and available. So check it out on VOD. Go to silentrivermovie.com.